My name is Daphne DeLucci and welcome to the Lifeshow, a brand new show with a difference. My show is about real people, defying the odds, standing up and getting real. I am an interior and lighting designer and a proud mother of 3. I am living one of my dreams. 2 months ago, amongst a very dark time in my life, I decided to make a TV show. I have a fantastic team who are part of the Lifeshow movement. We all have given up our time and have all poured the best of energy and passion you could wish to find into this inspiring show. Look at our team in action. We made it happen.
My name's Riz.
Karen.
Good. Karen.
My guest, Anna Hemmings, a gold medalist and an athlete at her peak, almost overnight went from extreme highs to being put on hold as she discovered that she had chronic fatigue syndrome. Where most people would have given up, Anna has triumphed and would like to share her story with you. Hello Anna, welcome to the Lifeshow.
Thank you.
When did you actually start canoeing?
I started canoeing when I was 8.5 years old. I used to do lots of different sports when I was a kid. My mum, all the time I was doing, swimming, running, sailing, tennis, you name it, I was doing it. And every summer holidays, there was always a week of tennis camp or of this, or of that, basketball. And one summer holidays, my mum picked up a leaflet at a local sports centre saying, come and try canoeing. So I went along with my brother, and it was a week-long course. We went along to the club, learned how to paddle, and absolutely loved it. And we joined the club, and I've been at the same club ever since, and that's Elmbridge Canoe Club in Weybridge in Surrey.
So when you're 14, you suddenly get into the British team. I mean, at that age, did you have a vision of where you were going to go with your sport?
Yeah, at that stage, I was selected at that stage to go to the World Championships, and I went to the World Championships, and I went there, and it was, I want to become a world champion. That inspired me big time.
And when you realised, where you were going and what you were involved in, what feeling did that give you?
It was hugely exciting. I mean, to the prospect of competing at the World Championships, at the Olympics. Ever since I was a little girl, I wanted to compete at the Olympic Games. It had been my dream, and actually initially I had dreamt of competing at the Olympics as a runner. And I actually have a bet with the boy at my first school, and I think he owes me £1 million now because I bet him that I would compete at the Olympic Games, and I did in Sydney in 2000. So I've always dreamt of competing at Olympics, and as that started to become more possible, it was just, really exciting.
That's wonderful. But it hasn't always been so easy for you, has it? Because, it takes a lot of commitment and hard work. What's the toughest thing that's ever happened to you?
Well, 2.5 years ago now, I was diagnosed with chronic fatigue syndrome.
What is that?
Basically, a condition that left me feeling exhausted, aching with pain all over my body, aching so much so that it was painful, fatigued after very light exercise. I went from being at the pinnacle of my sport, someone who's a professional athlete, earned my living from being a professional athlete, to someone who could barely go out canoeing for less, 20 minutes at a very light, easy pace, like going for a light walk. I suffered periods of insomnia, as well as periods where I would just kind of fall asleep at the dinner table like this. It got depressing, and those were just the physical symptoms. The emotional battle was something else.
That is absolutely awful. How on earth did you cope?
I struggled. It was one of the most frustrating parts of it was the fact that initially it was all so vague, and I just started feeling tired, and my muscles are achy, and I was sleeping lots. I was at the very beginning stages, I was sleeping for 13, 14 hours at night, and maybe a little nap in the afternoon. And I went to the team doctor, the British Olympic team doctor, and he diagnosed it as an overtraining syndrome, I guess, overreaching they call it. But I kind of knew that it wasn't that. I didn't think it was that. I had just come back from a training camp in Florida, but I hadn't trained any harder than I had any other year or any other time. And it felt more profound than that. And so I went to the doctors and they did all these tests and it says that nothing's wrong, nothing came up positive. And so the doctor just said, you know, it's overtraining, you need some rest and you do this recovery program and you'll be fine. And to cut a long story short, it wasn't fine, and I didn't recover after some rest. But the doctors just really didn't know what to do about it, or none of it was working.
So I want to know, how do you go from having something so devastating happen to you to coming in to talk to Daphne DeLucci about this amazing medal? I mean, how does this work?
Well, I was lucky to discover reverse therapy. I discovered that it's a relatively new principle or way of addressing the condition, and my sponsors, I have a company called Pinda, Print and Electronic Media Company, and I went with them to Chicago about 11 months ago for a sports marketing meeting. And the lady who was looking after me for the few days that I was there, employee of Pinda, she had a friend in the UK who had suffered from ME and had used reverse therapy.
So with reverse therapy, what is that? I mean, what did you have to take something, do something?
Yeah, it's a treatment that recognises that the mind and the body are connected, and so they see it as a mind-body environment imbalance. And in terms of a medical point of view and in physical sense, there's a gland in your brain called the hypothalamus, and it controls all of your bodily functions. So from your immune system to your hormones, your nervous system, your glands, your sleep patterns, all of your bodily functions. And when the hypothalamus is overactive, they've discovered that with patients with chronic fatigue, ME, fibromyalgia, sort of associated conditions, the hypothalamus becomes overactive.
Okay.
And when it's overactive, that's what produces the symptoms. And reverse therapy seeks to find out, there are a variety of triggers that cause the hypothalamus to overact. And reverse therapy seeks to find out what these triggers are to stop the hypothalamus from overacting. And the triggers are different for everybody. And in the reverse therapy sessions, they seek to find out what those triggers are. And that's essentially what it is. I want to go back to compete at the Olympic Games again, 2008, and go there and win gold medals.
Okay. Well, I'm sure all of us at home wish Anna just so much luck, and she's an incredible inspiration to us all. Whatever situation you find yourself in, it is important to remember that you have choices. Anna chose to win on every level. My next guest is a real live action man who chooses to play and make life fun, at the same time carving out a memorable and fruitful career. We can all learn from people who play. When did you last play? When did you really, really laugh? Sometimes if I didn't laugh, I'd just have to cry. But also it is scientifically proven that laughing is good for you. So do something different. Put a date in the diary. Go to a theme park, take a walk in the park, tell some silly jokes, whatever is your thing. Just do it. I choose to laugh and find the fun. If you are one of those people who haven't laughed for a long time, it's time to make a change. If you need a little inspiration, watch Rob. He certainly has a zest for living. So Rob, welcome to the live show. I mean, you look amazing. What on earth do you do?
I'm a professional downhill mountain bike rider.
Well, that sounds awesome. So, what have been your highs of your career?
I won a World Cup back in '96 when I was young and fast, and I've been 3 times British champion.
How impressive. Are you afraid of heights?
No, not really.
So, because sometimes when you're at racing, isn't it, that you've got to sometimes go in a high range mountain area and...
Yeah, I mean, we race a lot in Europe, in the Alps, race in the States a lot, and race in England a lot as well, but it's actually not so good here because we haven't got any mountains really, you know.
Okay.
Race in Wales and Scotland aren't too bad, but the big problem we have is that you really need ski resorts to get the chairlift access to the top of the mountain, and obviously in the UK there's only one really in Fort William, so we spend a lot of time driving up and down the M6. But
That's interesting. So tell me this: when you actually, go abroad and you've got a big race on, how many of you race at once?
We race one at a time against the clock.
Okay.
Yeah, and there's probably, World Cups are limited entries now, but you still get probably the 300 best riders in the world there, and it goes down to a semi-final and then a final in the afternoon.
So actually, when you're on your bike and you're ready to go, how are you feeling?
Generally sick.
Really?
Yeah.
Honestly, why?
Yeah.
That's
By the
interesting.
time, yeah, you're right. We have qualifying in the morning. It's a pretty set schedule. By about 11 o'clock in the morning, we start that, and then from then until about 3-4 o'clock in the afternoon, you don't do anything. You can't. There's no practice, nothing. The track's shut, and then you go straight back to the top, and you have a set time from where you qualified, and really your whole day from 11 o'clock revolves around that, and that start time. So you're building towards that point, but obviously you get one run. Any mistakes you make, anything like that's going to put you straight out of the top 20. So it's like a real high pressure environment, really. Yeah.
So as you're going from like A to B, what's the feeling in between?
Nausea again, really.
Really?
Yeah.
So why?
I'm joking. No, but your heart rate's up to about 180, most 190 the whole way down. You're absolutely at your max heart rate, and it's really, really physical. We only race for 3 or 4 minutes, so.
You'd have to be really fit to do a sport
Yeah,
like
you
that.
do. People say downhill racing, but you have to be really fit. It's people who do try it, other athletes from other sports, endurance athletes come and they've had a go and they can't believe how hard it is. I mean, on top of that, as well as pedaling everywhere and your heart rate's going through the roof, you're trying to, ride the bike as well and be fast, and fatigue sets into your arms and your legs, and so you start making mistakes, and then it's really hard. I mean, like the top 10's normally separated by 2 or 3 seconds. And that's how accurate you have to be. You have to be able to ride under those conditions,
So why on earth do you do this, Rob?
Well, it's a good living.
Yeah.
It's better than getting up and going to work every morning.
And why is it a good living?
I get paid pretty good,
Yeah.
but more than that, it's just a nice lifestyle, really. I mean, more than anything, I get to travel a lot. I don't have to get out of bed till I want, do what I want every day, and then I race on the weekends in the summer. But obviously the big buzz is like the racing, it's still exciting, and you have to train for that, and I enjoy the training and staying in shape, and it's, the whole thing really, it's just a lot more than just the racing, I suppose, but the racing at the end of the day, there's nothing like competing at, world championship level.
So for any of those viewers at home that fancy having a go at this, what's the ideal age to start, and can you do it if you're a girl? Or
Yeah,
is it
there
just
are
a
some
boys,
girls do
or
it,
is it
but
just a boys thing?
Any girls who want to do it, I'd say get into it, because the girls
Yeah?
who do it are rubbish.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, so they need some competitors.
Yeah, there's about probably 10 of them in the whole world, and,
Yeah.
and 5 of them are any good. So
Well, come on,
I
girls.
think, I think any girl who wanted to come and have a go within about 6 months coaching could probably be top 5 in the world.
Really?
Yeah, they're pretty bad. But I mean, the lads is a bit more competitive.
And why is it that girls are bad at it? Is it because they need more physical strength,
Well,
or they need
no.
more welly? What is it, do you think?
I don't know. There's a few French girls that are quite good at it now,
Yeah.
but I don't know really. It's still quite a new sport, and I don't think a lot of them haven't come right through doing it. They've come from other disciplines like cross country, so they've got good fitness, or maybe some of them have come from BMX, but they're not used to riding over rocks and stones and tree roots and doing 50 mile an hour, So they kind of struggle with it a bit. Yeah. The lads obviously are a lot more powerful. And
Well, it sounds awesome, Rob. I'd really like to see you in action. You brought some stuff today.
Yeah,
So,
brought a couple of bikes on.
So I was going to kind of offer my service and say, come on, let's ride some bikes, but I think I might have changed my mind. Well, you must get around a bit. I mean, where do you go to do this?
Well, we spend a lot of time in Europe, in the Alps. I'm off to Italy next week, for instance, for another World Cup, and there's a lot of European races, and we go to the States as well for usually a month every year. I've just come from where were we? New Mexico this time, which was pretty good. Yeah.
So when you say you stay there for a month, why do you need to be there that long?
Well, we had a race in Canada before, then we had a week off, then a race in New Mexico, then a week off, and then a race in Brazil. So it's been.
Now I can see why you're attracted to the lifestyle.
Yeah.
So you were telling me about the girls, right? So why are you saying that they're so crap then?
Well, they are really.
Are they? Tell me about it. Dish the girls. Dish the dirt on the girls. Come on.
Well, we'll come down the track in about 4 minutes.
Yeah.
Probably the best girl's going to be 4.5 minutes, 30 seconds behind us. But it's more, there's a handful of girls that are quite good, to be honest, but then the level drops off so quickly, and you know, you might have first and second within 5 seconds of each other, and then it'll be 30 seconds back to third, and another 20 seconds back to fourth. Whereas in the men, the top 20 is always separated by no more than 5-10 seconds. You know, it's so competitive in the men's, and really what is annoying is that all the girls prance about thinking they should be sponsored, and they do get pro deals, and it annoys me just because they're girls, and I think, you know, they need to be competing on a level playing field. There's about just the level's so crap.
And tell me, what do the girls think of you then?
Oh, they hate me.
Do they? Why? I couldn't imagine why.
I just slag them off everywhere I go, really.
Oh.
But deservedly so. I just say what all the other blokes think, you know. You know, yeah.
When you say it, well, that's honest.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's true though. I mean, it's the same in a lot of these extreme sports. Though, because they're girls, they get a lot more out than they should.
Yeah. And what do you do when you're not being an action man?
I like to relax.
I can't believe that.
I like going down the pub.
I don't think I believe you. Okay, tell me what you do to relax. You go to the pub. What else?
I ride motorbikes a lot, which helps me with the mountain biking.
Uh-huh.
I stay in bed till 10, 11 o'clock most mornings.
Uh-huh.
That kind of thing,
That
really.
kind of
yeah,
thing? Sounds good to me.
Yeah, it's nice. That's it. I mean, we have a very hectic schedule in the summer. I race every weekend between like May and September, and then really from September up until the end of January, February, I don't have to do anything. And then come February, you start training for the new season. So, but it's quite nice, you know.
Lovely, lovely. So, what's your vision for the next couple of years?
I hope to keep racing for another 12 months.
Yeah.
But I am getting a bit long in the tooth for it now.
Yeah.
But who
Maybe,
knows
you know
after
what?
that?
Maybe you could go and make a fortune on coaching some of those girls. Have you ever thought of that?
There's probably a fortune to be made, yeah.
Yeah, but the problem would be putting up with the girls, right?
I think of what I've said about them, I couldn't really bring myself to do it.
Well then, on that note, thanks very much, Rob.
I'm lucky.
If biking's not your thing, then maybe music is. Meet the band, the Neophonics, and the fantastic Janet Gabriel. Take it away, Janet.
Just one chance could be all that we've got. We all have one chance, just one chance to make it right. Mary thought she had it all with a high-flying job. Thought she didn't need no man or somebody to love. Thinking happiness the same as Bulgari jewelry. Now she wants back the man that gave her love and ring, but she left too much heartache and too much pain behind. Yes, she did. Now she's wondering what the future holds, and she's headed 45. But sometimes I'll be heading. She had that one chance, just one chance, but she did not do right. Mary had that one chance to make things right. Now Johnny and his papa, after I never see, had a difference in opinion. They can never agree. Last time they were together, they did not speak. What it makes you wonder, is it so hard to forget? Now Papa's dead and gone, and Johnny's full of regrets. Yes, he is. All the joys they never shared, and the things they never said. Sometimes all we have is, he had that one chance, just one chance to make things right. 'Cause Johnny had that one chance, just one chance to make things right. Yes, he did. Yeah. So why do so many people put off what they need to do today? And they're the same people that complain, then life ain't going their way. to make things right. Yes, we do. Ooh, to make things right. Mary wants Amanda, but it's much too late. Johnny wants to speak to Pop, but he's gone away. Hey, hey, what you can do today, don't put it off till tomorrow, or it might be too late. Ooh, just want you, yeah, but it didn't do right. Johnny had that one chance, just want you. She did not do right.
We all have great ideas at times. We all have those days when we see everything is possible. This is the easy bit. How do we sustain that feeling? We need to make a plan. We need to stay positive. My next guest, Richard Knight, who has a passion for learning and positive thinking. He has made a huge difference to his and other people's lives. For him, it all started with a plan. We lead into his story with Jason. Get real. That's what my guest Richard Knight is about, putting theory into practice. Positive thinking, you actually live it. How did you actually get started?
I was introduced to this guy called Tony Wakefield, who became one of my closest friends. And he introduced me to a business opportunity that had linked to it an educational system. Now, I didn't take up the business opportunity, but I was wise enough at that time, at 24 years of age, to plug into the educational system. Well, it consisted of motivational tapes, positive attitude books, and association. And it is a fact of life, we become who we spend our time hanging around with. So I subscribed to a tape system, which was a weekly tape system. A monthly book, so I had sort of 4 tapes that came through a month. I had a book that came through once a month, and then I was also linked into some positive motivational seminars that were on a monthly basis. So this was an investment in me as an individual, an investment in my future, and I was probably investing at that stage, and this is to say this over 20 years ago now, I was probably investing £30 or £40 a month in something I had no experience about.
And can you tell me, how quickly did you see any measurable changes?
I think it's something that you're always changing. It's not something that happens overnight. I think it took me from the time that I was exposed to this system to the time I started my own business was 6 years. So the last job that I had, which was over the airport, was at 28 years of age. And I said to the managing director when I took the job, I said, look, I'll give you 2 years. I'm only going to be here 2 years. I'll give you the best 2 years that anybody can give you, but I'm starting my own business up. But I had no idea at that time when I made that statement what I was going to do. I just knew that at 30 years of age, that was the goal that I set, and I was going to start my own business up. But I think because of what I'd learned through the system and the people that I'd actually met, I knew my chances of success were that much greater than they would have been had I not had that system. And I actually quit working for somebody else 1 week after my 30th birthday. And it was quite strange actually, because I wasn't earning a lot of money at the time, so it wasn't like I had a lot to throw away. My wife was 3 months pregnant with her first child, who's now 17. Everybody thought I was stupid. My father said to me, how irresponsible, sort of quitting what security you had from a job to go out and do something that you'd never done before. It was an advertising business I started. I never had any experience of advertising. It was just like it seemed like a good idea at the time. I quit my job based on the strength of a 1 day's cold calling down the new Wokingham Road in Reading, and I still remember it like it was yesterday. We told everybody what we were going to be doing, and they all said, great idea, when you've started, come back and see me and we'll go for it.
So at that time, did you have a clear vision exactly what you wanted to do with your business?
No, not really. It was actually a franchise or a distributorship that we bought, and the guy that I'm in partnership with today, we've been together for 18 years. He bought a franchise in one area, I bought a franchise in the next area, and all we did, we decided to merge them from day one because it made sense to do that rather than tread on each other's toes. But I think it was a case of this time next week, Rodney, we'll all be millionaires, and we honestly believed that will be the case. It was a new idea. It was graphic television advertising. We'd put graphic adverts on TV screens at point of sale, and we'd sell them to local businesses. Nobody was doing it, and we thought this is great.
Okay, so you started positive thinking years ago. Are you still, practicing the same philosophy?
Oh, very much so. I think it's a life thing. I mean, I actually think when I left school at 16 years of age, I thought, that's it, that's my education done. I'm going to go out and work now. My first job was in a bank, and I had to go to night school twice a week to do banking exams, which I actually loathed. And it wasn't the fact I hated the job, but I hated the fact I had to go to college 2 nights a week. So I stuck that for 4 years, and I thought, that's it, I don't want to do any more. So I honestly believe my education was over. When in point of fact it was only just starting. I think, you know, to have the sort of philosophy that from 11 to 16 you're at secondary school and that's it, done, you might go on to college or university, but education is a lifelong process. And I've learnt more probably in the last 4 years than I've learnt in the previous, 43 years of my life prior to that time.
And why do you think that is?
I think you're more open to ideas. I think as you get older, we still think, and I think especially guys, I think we still think we're 18, 20 years of age, and still think we could do what we did when we were that age. But I think your mind actually matures with age. And so I was 30 when I started my own business up. I don't think I'd have been mature enough prior to that to be able to start my own business up. But I think because you go through life and you learn things, and then you start to think, well, is what I'm doing what I want to be doing for the rest of my life? Or do I want to go another direction? You know you have the education system and the thought process to get you there, but it's a case of why you're doing what you're doing.
And can you tell me, can anyone be a positive thinker?
Yeah, of course they can. I think I think one of the biggest keys to being a positive thinker is number one, you've got to have a reason why you want to do it. I think, like anything in life, if you don't have a reason why or a dream, then the how's completely irrelevant. I think you have to know why you want to do something before you ever have to find out why to do it. Otherwise, there is no reason to want to do it. But if you have a big enough reason why, then you can find out. And I think you need to, you can go into Smith's and buy any positive attitude book, and it's a good place to start. And probably, 2 books I would always promote would be The Magic of Thinking Big or How to Win Friends and Influence People. They were the 2 books I started with. They're 2 of the oldest positive attitude books and probably 2 of the best sellers still around today.
And I have heard rumours about you that you do lots of good things for people. Can you tell me about Jason?
Jason was a guy I met. He was 19 years of age when I met him. This was probably, I suppose, probably 8 or 10 years ago now. And I met him through a woman that worked in the office next door to me. And she'd seen an article in the paper saying that he'd had an accident and he broke his neck. And they were looking to raise money to send him out to Mexico for a pioneering operation, which was basically implanting baby blue shark cells into the spine to stimulate growth. Because basically from I think the second spinal cord down, he was paralysed. So from, if you put your arms out, from here up he had movement. Everywhere below he didn't. And this happened. He was 19. He was on holiday with his friends. They threw him in a pool, childish prank, and where the pool went down like that, right on the arc of that, he sort of hit his neck and broke his neck. And he was 19. So the woman in the office next door to me introduced me to Jason. She saw the article, wanted to help. Expected Jason's mother to say, no, it's okay, we've raised all the money we need. To be faced with, you're the first person that rang. And then she panicked and then came to me and said, would you help me? So I said, yeah, of course I can. And that's how we met Jason. The thing that attracted me to him was, despite what he'd actually gone through at 19 years of age, how positive he was. And that was the reason why I actually decided to work with him. I think if he'd have been negative, I don't think I'd have actually been able to work with him, because it would have been a mental drain on me. But the fact he was so positive and still is, and I still see Jason today, it gave me the impetus to actually want to help him. And we met a load of people through Jason. We arranged various auctions, and cut a long story short, he told me, Jason said to me, he was looking at 5 years to raise this money. He was looking for £50,000. And I said, you won't keep the public's interest for 5 years. This is something that has to be done in a relatively short period of time.
Yes.
And this was March when I met him, and we set a goal to raise £50,000 by December that year, which we did. And I've met a lot of people through that as well. Some people that become my closest friends, through meeting Jason. But it was all, believing you can do something. I wouldn't have known how to raise £50,000. But the thing is, if the dream's big enough, the facts don't count. You can always find people that, if you don't know, you can find people that do.
Wonderful story, and I would like to thank you for coming on the live show.
Thank you.
And you can hang around a bit if you like, and we can do some more positive thinking. For more information on Richard, please visit the Lifeshow website, www.thelifeshow.com. Thank you for watching the Life Show. I hope our guests inspired you to live a happy life and start making your dreams come true. Next time you watch the Life Show, get ready for fun and inspiration. Until then, bye from me, Daphne DeLucci.
Don't get sad, just get busy.